Hi, everybody. Whoa. Oh my gosh, I just turned on that light and that was super powerful. Yay. Technical difficulties this morning. I just came back from a run, actually, around the lake because it's super, super nice out. And it is my daughter's 11th birthday. And it's crazy because I went into labor 11 years ago on Mother's Day, and then I had them on that Monday. So I don't know, it felt kind of cool and extra important today. So I'm a little late and sweaty, and then I was trying to find the books for you guys because I wanted to talk about my top 3 favorite books, which was kind of hard to narrow down. And so here they are. Now what to start with? Well, I guess I'll start with Man's Search for Meaning because right now he's my boyfriend. Hi, Stacy. And this is Viktor Frankl. And I've been talking about him a lot recently because it's just a super powerful book. And it is, he is a Jewish psychiatrist who he is put in 3 concentration camps. And it is his journey through those camps and the therapy that he develops after he has gone through this experience of being in a concentration camp. And what he says is that no matter what we are going through, we always have a choice. And I mean, this man was stripped away from all levels of humanity. And it is that will to live and that desire to live. And this is like my go-to book whenever shit hits the fan in life. And he talks about he wrote this book, I think, in like the 1950s, and then he redid it, I think, in the 80s. But even like back in the day, he was talking about like when we are so externally focused, it creates suffering. And so when all of that suffering is when all of that external that you get distracted by is stripped away, like being in a concentration camp or being in quarantine now, or another point is when Jack died, everything was stripped away. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm on a live. Well, fuck it, I'm on a live, like totally sweaty right now, who cares? But I see my face like shining and glistening. And so when all of that is stripped away, your mind has to go internally and focus on your internal world. And it is learning about finding out why you're here and what's important to you and what keeps you here. And the book opens up with him telling his patients, why haven't you committed suicide yet? I mean, seriously? But it gets them thinking about what is keeping them here, what is important, and then it's holding on to that and then creating a life based on meaning. And he, at one point in the book, which is cool because it's like every time I read it, I pick up on different things. And one of the things that resonated with me this time was he likens life like a movie. And when you have, there are these little clips of the movie that when you just look at the clip, it doesn't make much sense. But then when you watch the whole movie, everything falls into place, and that the meaning of the movie doesn't come until that final scene. And so it's about finding the meaning and the purpose in the everyday. It's such a great read. Read it. Okay, the other book, I don't know where it is. It's someplace in my house, is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I read this book about a year after Jack died, and people were like amazed that I hadn't read it yet. But it's so good because it's about suffering. All my books seem to be it's about suffering on some level. That's not true. My third book isn't. And the power of now is all about, he talks about time is suffering. And so if you're constantly focused in the past and thinking about your life as it was or what it should have been, even now with COVID, like, our world that we lived in no longer exists, right? And so if we are yearning and constantly thinking about the past, we're going to create suffering, okay? So that being said, on the flip side, if you're constantly focused on the future and you're constantly future tripping, which so many people are, you're going to create anxiety, you're going to create worry, you're going to create fear, and you're going to create suffering. And so what Eckhart says is that when we are truly in the present moment, suffering ceases to exist. And he talks about like a hawk at one point in the book, and he's like, you know what, if you ask the hawk, what time is it? He's going to be like, what the hell? I mean, this is like me riffing off of Eckhart. He's not going to be like, what the fuck, dude? But he's going to be like, what are you talking about, time? I'm just about to grab some lunch in that mouse, And so because humans have constructed time, it keeps us from being focused in the present where suffering ceases to exist. And it was a really good book for me to read shortly after Jack's death, because when I was truly in that present moment, sometimes I was totally in suffering. And other times I was like, okay, you know what, right here, right now, I'm okay. And so the more that we could practice that mindfulness, like the better. So The Power of Now, that's my second book. And these are really in no particular order. And quite honestly, when I was just going through my bookshelf, I was like, shit, I have like 5 other books that I could be talking about. And I was like, okay, just keep to 3. So I'm going to have another one at some other point with other books in there. My third book, I love this book. It's so good. Hold on. I'm gonna keep you guys posted. Hold on. Oh, that water's so good. Okay. Is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It is such a good book. This actual book, I have had since 1994. And, oh my God. And then I open it up and it's like whatever I've underlined, I'm like, holy shit, that's like still pertinent today. Like, your eyes show the strength of your soul. Oh, so good. So for those who have not read this book, go out and buy this book. It's so good. So this is, if you guys want to know about the hero's journey, and I talk about the hero's journey a lot in terms of your own personal growth and finding out who you are. This is this is a fable, and it's this beautiful story about this Spanish shepherd, and his father was a shepherd, his grandfather was a shepherd, and he came from a long line of shepherds, and he keeps having these dreams about finding love in the pyramids of Egypt. And these dreams just keep coming to him and coming to him and coming to him, and he's resisting them. And then finally he decides, I have to follow my dream. And he goes on this journey to find love and to get to the pyramids. But it is the most beautiful story of the hero's journey, because I always say the first thing that the hero does when they are living this status quo life as a shepherd is resist the call. And that's what he does. And then he builds up the courage to go forth and follow his dreams. And then in that, he finds enemies, he finds allies, he, slays his metaphorical dragon. And so I don't want to ruin the story for you, but it's amazing. And there's a whole death and rebirth that happens to him. And it's honestly such a beautiful book. And it's filled with these deep, powerful, things. I'm just going to read you another one just because I want to, and it's, a special day in my life. So and again, I'm just opening up any page and I'm going to read it to you. We are afraid of losing what we have, whether it's our life or our possessions and property. But this fear evaporates when we understand that our life stories and the history of the world were written by the same hand. Like, seriously, people, like, I'm going to start crying. I love this book so much. So that's what I had. Those are my top 3 books. Man's Search for Meaning. Read it if you haven't. It is on the top 100 books to read before you die, if that is going to tell you something. Helena, you need to read this book if you haven't read it already. It's about your favorite subject. And of course, The Alchemist and The Power of Now, which is someplace in my house. That is it, ladies. I am going to celebrate my daughters right now because it's their 11th birthday. It's their golden birthday. And that's about it. Next week, I don't know what I'm talking about next week. I'm going to figure it out this week, and then I'll let you know. But if you're in Seattle, enjoy the sunshine. We've got beautiful weather. And if you're anywhere else in the world, enjoy as much as you can this global retreat that we're in, and maybe pick up one of these books to start reading them. Okay. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye.